Hey guys, welcome into Rhill World. I'm your host, Rhill, aka Rhill One, and we've got a big show on tap for you today. Lots happening in the news. First off, we're not going to take the spotlight off of New York and Mamdani. A little bit of news there. Also, Michelle Obama making her book tour says some real stupid shit. The BBC facing a lawsuit. And we're going to talk a little bit about Trump ideas and Epstein, all coming up here on Rhill World. Thank you for joining me. Are you ready? Well, let's go. Yes. First thing on the agenda, we are not taking that spotlight off of New York and Mamdani. Yes, free this, free that, free this, free that, come get it. Well, Governor Hochul says not so fast. Mamdani promising free bus fares to the citizens of New York City primarily. That's where he will be mayor, taking over as of the 1st of January. And his boss, yes, he still has people to answer to before trying to implement any stupid shit. And she's already come out. I mean, this is November, halfway through November. He's still a month and a half from taking office, and already he's being told, yeah, that just isn't going to happen. Here's the clip.
I cannot set forth a plan right now that takes money out of a system that relies on the fares of the buses and the subways.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tweeted today, quote, "Nothing in life is free. Remember this the next time you support a socialist."
Yes.
While critics scoff, Mamdani is moving ahead with his administration and is standing behind his promise.
These are not just slogans. These are commitments, and I look forward to delivering on them.
Yeah. Not so fast. These are not just slogans. These are commitments that you can't deliver on, but he's still just going to say some stupid shit. He's going to get into office. It's going to be a train wreck. But, I mean, hey, he's got a good aura. He's young, vibrant, energetic, but he's still a train wreck. Oh, New York. I really feel bad for you. We're going to keep the spotlight on New York and the dangers of electing a socialist, communist, and even worse, he's Muslim and, not far removed from that Muslim Brotherhood that I talked about. No Sharia Law. We must resist Sharia Law with every fiber and ounce of our being. As a country, we cannot stand if Sharia law is allowed to operate here in the US of A. We must fight against that with every fiber of our beings, and I will continue that in future episodes here on Rhill World. You can count on that. But there's also other socialist communists being elected across the country. Seattle has a train wreck there that was also elected. Not as outspoken and outrageous as Mamdani and his outrageous promises, but anything coming out of there, we're going to keep an eye on here as well. This movement has got to stop, and that's one reason why I'm going to continue that spotlight on New York. And as we're already seeing, people that have been in office are actually doing the job, knee deep in the books, are already coming out and saying, yeah, free sounds nice and everything, but it still costs money. I'll just leave that right there. Big Mike. Yes, Michelle Obama is coming out saying some real stupid shit, but what else is new? She's out on her book tour and she's got this little podcast or whatever, but she's making news because she decided to come out and say, oh yeah, the country just not ready for a female president. The country's just always, you know, if you listen to the Obamas, especially Big Mike, you're going to know that the country is very, very racist, very, very sexist. It's just a shame, shame this, shame that, blah, blah, blah. You know, none of it's real life, none of it's real, and she's just a victim, just a multi-millionaire victim, former first lady, everything in the world handed to her, still a victim, still not happy. Just go away already, Michelle. Nobody wants to hear from you. Nobody cares what you have to say. She says, oh yeah, we're not ready for a female president. No. Oh, I can assure you the country is very, very ready for a female president. We just need a good one. We just haven't had a good female make the ticket yet. It's as simple as that. Hillary Clinton? Are you kidding me? Talk about a train wreck, mostly in the form of corruption. Yeah, we don't need any more money stolen from the American taxpayer. We've already had millions upon millions, actually billions of dollars stolen by the Democrat Party. Yeah, no thank you on that one. And then Kamala? I only have so much time in the day, guys. Sorry, I don't have enough time to even discuss the train wreck that would have been. And even just her making the ticket was a train wreck in itself. Same could be said for Hillary Clinton. Neither one of them won the nomination because they were not good candidates. You give me a good candidate on the top of that ticket, they got my vote. But not either one of them. Ever. Ever. And thank you, President Trump, for having the country dodge that bullet. Both of those, because that would have been detrimental. Thank you, President Trump. I mean, as bad as the previous president, Mr. Otto was, one of those two, either of those two in office, especially this last one, Kamala. Oh my gosh, that would have just been a continuation of what we saw with Otto except for exaggerated, and that the country could not withstand. So with that, yeah, Michelle, just go away. Tell you and your husband, just go live your lavish lifestyle in Martha Vineyards and your multi-million-dollar mansion and all that money that you stole from the taxpayers, and just go away. Nobody wants to hear from you. You're irrelevant. Nobody cares. In other news, the BBC is facing a lawsuit from the Trump administration and the sum of possibly $5 billion with a B. Yes, BBC facing backlash, and let me see who, Tim Davie, their Director General, and also Deborah Turnus, CEO of BBC News, have both resigned in the wake of this huge BBC scandal of them splicing together a speech that Donald Trump put together to make it sound like he was inciting an insurrection, when in reality, couldn't be far from the truth. $5 billion lawsuit being waged against BBC, and I will show you exactly why, just to put some metric to what is actually going on here.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Yeah, you see what they did there? You see how they put that speech, they there was a splice there, they did some, and then they put in another part of the speech that took place 55 minutes later. There is no excuse for that. There is no, oh, we made a mistake in editing. Yeah, I think Trump is going to have another big payday, which means another big payday for the U.S. of A. Because if you don't know, he's actually been donating all the money that he's winning from this news station and that news station, and his presidential salary, so on and so forth, is all being donated back to charities of sorts and also back to the country. So another big win for the Trump administration here coming ahead, because there's just no excuse for that. We have resignations, and they've tried to come out and say, "Oh, we're so sorry. We didn't mean anything by it. We stand by and steadfast on our reporting." And yeah, that ain't gonna cut it. But I did want to show you also one more clip in relation to this, just what was actually said. I know you saw the part of the clip that was spliced from, but here's what Trump actually said during that speech that's causing all the commotion.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun.
What happened here?
That's what he actually said. Previous clip showed you how they put together, "Oh, I'm going to be with you. Let's go fight. Let's go start this insurrection. Let's take over the government." Just didn't happen. Much like most of lefty news source, they just make shit up. And that's what this episode and that's what this program is here for, to expose the corruption on the left. And we're not done there. We're going to keep it coming, guys. Steadfast here. We're going to continue to support Trump on his mission to make America great again. He's doing a lot of good things for the country. I'm the first to tell you, but I did say that I would not be biased in my reporting as well. Like I said, as you've seen many times, and as this program will continue to show you, the left just likes to make shit up because they just don't have anything. They keep losing left and right when it comes to, well, anything and everything, because they refuse to try to do better for America and Americans. But I did tell you that if some stupid shit came out of the Trump administration, then I would show you. Trump recently did an interview lately where he was floating the idea of 50-year mortgages, and he actually thought this was a good idea. I will say I do believe his heart is in the right place with this, but sometimes having a billionaire, so on and so forth, you kind of are out of touch with everything. And, just being the president, he does rely on thousands of people to bring forth initiatives, bring forth ideas. And, I know that this was just a floating of an idea, but man, is it a train wreck of an idea. And I know it was some banker, like I said, his heart's in the right place. He says, how can we get home ownership back up? How can we get young people to be able to buy houses? The market is unreal, and I for one can tell you for a fact it is virtually impossible at this point in time to buy a home in the U.S. unless you're just very fortunate. You're not looking at home ownership nowadays, and so I do support the initiative to try and find something, but this just ain't it. But here's Trump talking about it. Just a bad idea.
Your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you know, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is 50, you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit.
Nope.
But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates, and I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months, fortunately. I have a guy too late, you know, Jerome Powell, we call him too late. He was too late in everything, except when it came to before the, you know, the Democrat, so-called Democrat election, which didn't work. But we're going to get interest rates down. But even with interest rates up, the economy is the strongest it's ever been.
And I'll just go ahead and leave that one right there. Yeah, just as I've said before, I will call out stuff that needs to be called out, and it's just a horrible idea. Again, I think his head is in the right place. I think his heart is in the right place. You know, taking the 30-year mortgage to a 50-year mortgage, but then you also hear him say some stupid shit like, you know, oh, we're going from 40 to 50, Mr. President. The 40-year mortgage just, it doesn't exist. And the 50-year mortgage, even a 40-year mortgage, that isn't the way to go. Now, he does expose what the real problem is, and that is, once again, people, these checks and balances are a really, really, really good thing. Don't get me wrong. But when the people elect a president, give him the House, give him the Senate, he should be able to get his agenda through. And once again, we have people standing in the way of trying to do what's best for the country and for Americans. And it's the interest rate and the constant rising costs due to said interest rates that are the problem. Sky high inflation under Autopin. Oh, we can bring interest rates down, no problem. We get inflation under control. We can't give you interest rates. No. We're gonna keep those high. We're gonna make those high. No, sir. You can't have that. No, too much uncertainty. It needs to stop. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on too. But also, want to call out some other stupid shit. The president is also floating
Trillions of dollars from students. You know, the students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree.
No.
We're never going to agree on
No.
it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. You know, people are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But
Speaking
you know
of-
what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all
Why
over
not?
the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Well, you know, I did say I would call him out when he's saying some stupid shit, and that, Mr. President, that's some stupid shit. No. So if you don't know the story behind this, 600,000, more than double, Chinese students being floated, being allowed now. I mean, he's just going to allow 600,000 Chinese students to come in and attend our universities. I understand his reasoning. I do. He's very transactional. He's very money. You know, this is why we really, really need him in office. I get it. Maybe head is in the right place money-wise, but, you know, safety-wise, we've seen everything. And we're trying to get so many people out of the country right now. And with the way that China is towards us, especially, I mean, we've seen them send spies to be able to infiltrate our government. And this is just a bad idea. And he's even talking about, you know, once they graduate, we let them stay, you know, because they're, you know, they can become productive members of society and so on and so forth. Yeah, I get it. But, you know, our colleges, they're great. Yes, they are. They're the best in the world. The country, we are the best in the world. Yes, but if we lost half of our colleges, that really doesn't do too much to the country. I mean, it's okay. If these colleges can't survive, it's because they suck. I'll be the first to say it. That's what it is. You know, if they're not offering the education levels that need to be brought, then they need to fail, just like any other business would. Just like our country would if we did not elect President Trump. These are just two bad ideas that are being floated by him. Looks like the Chinese thing is going to happen. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing to happen because it will stimulate the economy a little bit. It's not these fucking, you know, people just hopping the border and, you know, hardened criminals and everything else, insane asylums and jails just being dumped into the U.S. as we've seen over the last 4 years prior to Trump with President Autopin by the millions, by the way. You know, these are exchange students. They will be vetted, and hopefully, you know, I mean, he talked about in that interview there that, you know, we're going to be able to heavily vet and we're going to be keeping an eye on, you know, these people, and some of them are going to go back when they're done, and, you know, some of them are going to be allowed to stay. But I just can't see where increasing the number of Chinese in particular to 600,000 students really is a plus for the country. I guess, you know, we'll see what happens with that. Again, could be a lot worse. We're gonna bring people in, you know, that is just the way of it. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. Like I said, I will call him out on some stupid shit whenever he says some stupid shit. But, you know, the reason that we elected this man is to save the country. He is very transactional. And this is also another clip from the same interview that is a reason why we need this man in office. So without further ado, here we go.
Who knows what a magnet is? If you don't have a magnet, you don't make a car. You don't make a computer. You don't make televisions and radios and all the other things. You don't make anything. It's a 30-year effort to monopolize a very important thing. Now, within 2 years, we'll have magnets, all the magnets we want, but we don't. Because of tariffs, I called. I said, listen, here's the story. You're going to play the magnet. I'm going to play the tariff on you. And for national security purposes, I raised the tariff by 100% over and above what they were paying, which was 55. So he was at 155%. Within 10 minutes, I got a call. We'd like to meet. And we settled it out. And we made a wonderful deal, great deal for our country. But we made a great deal. We would have had a closed country. We would have had a depression. The whole world would have had a depression.
Doesn't it show us that we're too dependent on China? It's not just on rare earths, sir. We're dependent on them for still pharmaceuticals, still key industrial components. The Journal did a huge piece, and they're fairly pro-China, but but a very extensive piece. It's all coming back, Laura, because of tariffs. I'm charging them tariffs of 100% and 150% for pharmaceuticals. What's happening? The pharmaceutical companies are all back here building plants right now. That's part of the $20 trillion of money that's come in because of tariffs. And we're not dependent on China. We're dependent on having a smart president.
If we have a smart president, we're going to have no trouble. If we have a guy like we had last time, who was such an embarrassment, if we have stupid presidents, whether you have tariffs or don't have tariffs, it doesn't matter. If we didn't have tariffs, if I didn't have the power of the tariffs, right now we would have a country that wouldn't be making cars, wouldn't be making anything.
Correct. And that is why we elected him president and why we really need him as president. You know, I was just calling out the stupid shit just because, you know, like him saying, I am MAGA and I know what MAGA wants. Yeah, no, President. No, Mr. President. We don't need more foreign exchange students. Now, if they come here, you know, it's based on merit and, you know, so on and so forth. Fine, great. But not only from China, but around the world. And keep in mind, we're already bringing in 300,000. So he's doubling the amount of students. And it's all in just a transactional thing. I just don't feel it good for the country, being that it is from China. I'm not gonna overstate or understate that in any which way. I do have qualms because it is China. I believe that it should be opened up to the world based on merit. And yes, again, heavy vetting, and you know, they're going to be watched. And should they come here and say some stupid shit, as we've seen some other foreign students come in and say and incite violence, so on and so forth, then they got to go. And they should be right there in bold print. Get a signature. You're not coming here to love the country and respect the country. You can be removed very, very easily. And that needs to be part of anything that's happening with these foreign exchange students. But, you know, the business end, he's a very, very, very good business person. He's a very smart individual. He's, you know, as I mentioned, very transactional. And that's what we need. You know, we saw an opportunity for rare earth, which something that we really, really needed. We did rely on the Chinese for. And, you know, he went out, worked very, very hard around the world and solved that problem, as he solved many, many other problems. And, man, if we could just... We need to end the fucking filibuster, guys. I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but I did want to also highlight another thing that he talked about, and that is H-1B visas. It's already a thing. He's making it a more transactional thing. And there's a lot of people up in arms and against, you know, even the H-1Bs. And, you know, I was somewhere in the middle, but after listening to him, I'm on his side. And I'll just let you make your own opinion on this based on what he has to say. What do you think?
For your administration, because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put you...
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say, a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't.
I don't know. You could form your own opinion on that. I'm actually on his side with this. I do believe in legal immigration. I don't believe that we should increase it by way of foreign exchange students from China and the amounts that he's talking about. But Currently, the U.S. offers 85,000 H-1B visas every year, and those are in very, very, very high demand. They're scooped up as soon as possible. He's actually also tying in another transaction, making them $100,000 a piece. So also, making that part of the H-1Bs. I can see, the influx of money coming in, tying it in. It's something that has already been done to this point. And if we can also pinpoint it to talent that is actually needed in the country, and we are getting those good, cream of the crop, I'm talking. That's the way that our immigration system used to work. We used to be able to get the cream of the crop from these other countries and innovate here and push forward our economy. And that's not what we've been seeing with the illegal side of things, especially under AutoPin, where insane asylums and prisons were being just dumped into our country and bringing nothing but crime and filth into our country, and that's not what's needed. So I actually side with the president on the H-1Bs. I know that's a controversial thing when it comes to immigration at all, but I do feel like, you want to be sure. And in order to get the investment that he's getting, you got to be sure. You can't just say, hey, yeah, we could do that over here. We can make batteries, we can make bombs, we can make missiles. Yeah, no problem. Okay, yeah, come on over. And then they get over here, spend all this money, and then it's like, anybody know how to make batteries? Huh? Anybody know how to make missiles? No? No one in the back. I'm with him on that. I am with him on that. Running short on time here, but I did want to spend a little bit of time and talking about officially government shutdown has ended. Everybody's back to work. Everything's being funded again. And what do these crazy leftists do? They always got to have something. Okay, the shutdown is over. The Democrat shutdown, which they still won't admit to, is over. But what about the Epstein files? Yeah, Epstein, yeah. Trump was in some documents. Yeah, it said his name. Wait a minute. It says that Epstein hates Trump and was worried about him reporting him to the feds, kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for indecent behavior towards women. There's nothing there. Yeah, but his name's in it. He's buddies with the guy. Yeah, get him. Release the Epstein files. He won't release the Epstein files because he's scared. Well, Trump said he's ready to release the Epstein files. What do you think?
Mr. President, to clarify something you posted on Truth Social last night. You urged House Republicans to vote in favor of this Epstein release bill they're going to vote on tomorrow. I just want to be super clear on your position. Do you want to see that pass the Senate? Would you sign that bill if it gets to your desk?
I do want to. Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others. They're all Democrats. All I want is I want for people to recognize a great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars, and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. We've already given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. With Kennedy, we gave everything, and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything, and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages. 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that many of the people some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yep. And there you have it. And, you know, I played that clip because, you know, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. You know, and that's from the horse's mouth there, you know, talking about why he's just, you know what, let's just put it out there. Forget it. Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, Stacey Plaskett. The list goes on and on and on for the Democrats that are going to be exposed in this. And I actually believe that he didn't want to release everything because he was partially protecting those guys. Like, I still feel like, you know, he plays this moral game, and, you know, he kind of treads lightly in some areas, but he's like, okay, you guys want to play this game? Fine, here you go. And then once everything comes out, and it's just more Democrat corruption, more Democrat just disgusting behavior that we've seen, it's going to be something else. And the main thing that we need to pay attention to is, as he stated in there, the relationships. Many people knew Jeffrey Epstein, including the president, yes, but it's the relationships. It's what kind of relationship did they have with this person, and all what we've seen from the Democrat side is the disgusting behavior behind the relationships that they've had. And Trump, once getting to know the guy was a venture capitalist, he's a business person. Of course they knew people. When you're at the top of your game as a venture capitalist, as a business person, you're going to know who's at the top of those games. It's just the way it is. But once Trump became aware of who Epstein was, he resisted him. He told him he didn't want him around him. He had no interest in taking part of anything that he had going on, and barred him from Mar-a-Lago. And Epstein was worried that he was going to call the police. And actually, from widely reported things, show that Trump may have been the whistleblower on the whole thing. So do your own research on that. Go down that rabbit hole. It's very interesting. And, you know, these Democrats, they're just so freaking dumb. And here's another thing that's going to blow up right in their face, because, you know, some very, very high-ranking people of their party, many very respected Democrats, like I said, Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Hoffman. These guys are going to be implicated, and I believe that there's going to be many more. And, you know, I can call it, I can see it now. As soon as everything comes out, the House is supposed to have a vote today. This is early Tuesday. I believe it'll pass the House very, very easily. We'll see what happens with the Senate. The Senate is kind of a train wreck, I'll be honest with you. And again, I want to talk about, well, first off, let me finish my thought. Epstein, once it all comes out, the Democrats are going to be, well, what do you mean Trump's not guilty? Like, why isn't he guilty? Why didn't he rape a 4-year-old? Come on, where is it? I want to see it. It's not there. If anything is there, it would have been released 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Believe me. President Otto-Pin and that whole Democrat society had all of this paperwork in their hands the whole time. The reason they didn't release it is because of all the implications that are in it of them and their pedophilia. That is why Trump is not in there implicated on any wrongdoing. And you're going to find out. And it's still going to be some bullshit, just like Russia, it never went away, even though it was a complete hoax, completely fabricated, made up bullshit that they continued to just make up out of thin air. It's not there. If you're going to try to get them, please try to get them on some real shit. I'm tired of the fake stuff. And that said, we really need to end the filibuster. I know the government shutdown ended. And I believe the reason that those 8 Democrats crossed the line and came over and voted to go ahead and fund the government was because Trump was starting to get vocal on the filibuster and just being able to bypass everything that, that they're doing to obstruct. And they were like, well, let's get the government funded so that they don't do that. If we fund the government, I mean, there's some smart conversations taking place behind the scenes. But I don't care that the government is funded. That wasn't the reason I wanted the filibuster to be done away with. And that's not the reason why Trump wanted the filibuster to be done away with. He said it himself. I showed you in previous episodes. And this is why we should still continue down the path. President Trump needs to push to get this filibuster ended and get the Republican agenda through. More importantly, the MAGA, his agenda through, because if we continue down the path that we're going, we're not going to be able to get anything done. Trump's agenda will not move forward at all. Democrats are going to take power, as we always see. Well, they didn't get anything done, so we're going to try this guy. And then we're going to go back to this guy. And then we're going to... No, nothing ever gets done that way. So let's do it. Because we know once they get into office again, which they will if we do not do this, they are going to pack the Senate. They're going to pack the House. They're going to pack the Supreme Court. And RIP USA. Is that what we really want? No. And then probably Sharia Law. Because these people are fucking dimwits. They're stupid. Let's save our country. In the filibuster. Get the agenda through. Get these U.S. attorneys through so we can start prosecuting these criminals. Get the agenda through that the American people voted for. That's what a democracy is. You want to talk about a threat to democracy? You're living it. You're seeing it. But it's not Trump or the Republicans. Well, in some ways, it's the Republicans because they're standing in their own way in a lot of ways. And that's why I won't be calling myself a Republican probably anytime soon. Because they remain correct in their thoughts and their policy and all that, but they remain weak when it comes to actually fighting for what's right for you and me and the country. And that's all I got to say about that. Thank you for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out and watching the video. Please, please, please like. It takes 2 seconds. Please do it now. Just go ahead and hit that little like button. Comment if there's anything you want to hear me talk about. Subscribe. That takes 2 seconds and it's free as well. And please share this show with your friends. We need to get the word out and, in truth, because a lot of the mainstream media just isn't showing the truth and isn't talking about it. So we really need to get the word out there. Let's save the country together. Until then, till next time, thanks guys. I'll see you then.